Hey everybody. Good to see you. How are you today? I was just, I'm hanging out in the mouse pad for this lesson. And this is where we would be if you were all here with me as we begin our Sunday, August 30th lesson. This is our lesson 3 on Noah. All right? And last week, remember these? Remember? Rain sticks. Did you get to make one? I hope you did. If you haven't watched the lesson, it's still on YouTube. Ellie Kate did the study, and she sent us her pictures of making a rain stick and her rain stick, which is very nice, very good, very pretty. So thank you, Ellie Kate, for sending that in. If any of you did one, I would love to see your pictures. So just send them to me, and Davey and I will make sure they get on our Sunday school lesson. All right? Really love seeing that. Again, we are in our lesson and the year of the covenant. The covenant. Remember that big word? The covenant. Let's go over that meaning again, okay? It is. A covenant is an agreement between two people, like you and me, or between God and humans, God and you. It may include a promise, a condition, a penalty, and a provision. It sometimes includes a sign. All right, so guess what I found in my notes on Noah? I found this cool little pamphlet that shows us, look how big the ark is. All right, so we'll get a close-up of this for you, but this is the ark, and down here is what would be like a soccer or a football field, and it only goes to there. So the ark kept going. So imagine watching the Titans on the football field, and the ark would, it would take up more than the football field there. So it was big. And then this picture shows us the side. It's like there's a big truck there, the big trailer. And look how wide. It's as wide as that truck. So that's what they think the size of it was. And then this picture I really, really like. This is a picture of all the different areas that the animals would have been in. Isn't this cool? I'm trying to see if, there's the elephants, and I see some cows, and geese. Really cool. Really, really nice. Oh, a goat, there's a goat. Oh, a zebra. Lots of animals in that one. So I like this little book. If you'd like to see it, I'll have it in my office at church, and if you get to come by, I'd love to see you. All right, so we're going to go to our lesson next. Let's review it. We have a wonderful video to show you of the story and a wonderful storyteller. So I'm going to let him tell the story of Noah. And I'll see you right after the video, okay? Here's the story of Noah.
Zonda Kids presents the Jesus Storybook Bible. Every story whispers his name. Written by Sally Lloyd-Jones and read by David Suchet. A new beginning. Time passed, and many people filled the earth. Everyone everywhere had forgotten about God and were only doing bad things all the time. God's heart was filled with pain when he saw what had happened to the world he loved. Everywhere was disease and death and destruction, all the things God hates most. Now, Noah was God's friend, which was odd in those days because no one else was. But Noah listened to God. He talked to God. He just loved being with God, like you do with your best friend. Noah, God said, things have gone wrong. People have filled my world with hate instead of love. They're destroying themselves and each other and my world. And I must stop them. First, we'll build an ark. Do you know how to build an ark? Neither did Noah. Luckily, God knew, and he would show him. A storm is coming, God told Noah, but I will rescue you, I promise. I'll send the animals to you, ones that creep and crawl and slither and slime and gallop and hop and bound and climb. And don't forget to pack everyone's food. The storm was going to wash away all the hate and sadness and everything that had gone wrong and make the world clean again. God had thought up a way to keep Noah safe, but Noah would have to trust God and do exactly what God told him. So Noah built an ark. That's short for a very large boat. Noah's neighbours came out to watch and point and laugh because they didn't believe Noah about the boat or the storm or needing to be rescued. And Noah must have looked rather silly. His boat was in the desert. The desert was nowhere near the sea, and there wasn't even a cloud in the sky. Why would anyone need an umbrella, let alone a boat? But Noah didn't mind so much what other people thought. He minded what God thought. So he just did what God told him to do. When the ark was ready, God said, "All aboard!" And Noah's family and all the animals climbed inside. Then God shut the door. And it started raining. For minutes that joined up into hours, that joined up into days, that joined up into weeks and weeks. And the rain joined up into puddles, that joined up into rivers, that joined up into lakes, that joined up into a flood that covered the whole world. Their boat, that had once seemed so big, suddenly seemed very small. But in the middle of the huge storm, in the crashing waves, in all the thunder and lightning, and through it all, God was with them, and God kept them safe for 40 long days and 40 long nights. Finally, the rain stopped. The sun came out, and Noah threw open all the windows. "Hooray!" everyone shouted. Noah sent his dove out to explore, and it wasn't long before she brought him back a fresh olive leaf. Now, everyone knew exactly what that meant. She had found a tree and land. The water was going down. At last, the boat landed quite suddenly on top of a great mountain. As soon as it was safe, God said, "Out you come!" And so they did, everyone skipping and dancing onto dry land. The first thing Noah did was to thank God for rescuing them, just as he had promised. And the first thing God did was make another promise. "I won't ever destroy the world again." And like a warrior who puts away his bow and arrow at the end of a great battle, God said, "See, I have hung up my bow in the clouds." And there, in the clouds, just where the storm meets the sun, was a beautiful bow made of light. A rainbow. It was a new beginning in God's world. It wasn't long before everything went wrong again. But God wasn't surprised. He knew this would happen. That's why, before the beginning of time, he had another plan. A better plan. A plan not to destroy the world, but to rescue it. A plan to one day send his own son, the rescuer. God's strong anger against hate and sadness and death would come down once more, but not on his people or his world. No, God's war bow was not pointing down at his people. It was pointing up into the heart of heaven.
Wasn't that a great story? I love that video. Those pictures are so neat, and I love the way he reads the story from the Bible. And you know, that's from the book of Genesis. All right, we've talked about this. The book of Genesis it's actually the first chapter in the Bible. And it's the first book, and it's the Old Testament. The beginning of the Bible is the Old Testament, and that's where you find the story of Noah. And we have a memory verse that I'd like to see if you can start memorizing, if you can. And it's from the book of Genesis again, chapter 9, verses 14 through 15. All right, and this is the verse. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, like the front of the boat is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you, and every living creature of all flesh, and the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. And that is God speaking to Noah, his covenant. See if you can remember that, all right? Okay, for our lesson today, it is time to be a reporter or a magazine editor, whatever you prefer, a newspaper or magazine. And I have some assignments for you to help make a newsletter, all right? So I'm going to assign, if you're listening, I'm going to assign the first one to Cade, Harper and Chase, Ollie, Jackson, Barrett, and Ben, all right? I need you to come up with a comic strip for our magazine, all right? You know what a comic is? You could draw an animal or the ark and make some joke about it or make some silly comment about the animal. Let me show you an old one that we have. Davey will get a great picture of this for you. I like this. It's a little rabbit, and it says, "Did anyone think to pack the carrots?" I thought that was cute. Very cute. I forget who did that, but I like that. The little rabbit. All right. Can you make a comic strip like that for me that you could draw and put something in a little cloud over here, what the animal is saying or something? I also have one. This is the little magazine newsletter that we did a few years back. I'm looking at some of the names. It's Rachel and James and Garrett. Oh goodness, Lily. Anna Ford. So this is going back a bit. Anyhow, like here's a sheep and it says, "Oh no, why do you have to bring the wolves?" And Lily and Rachel did that. And here's one with a sloth. I know Rachel did this one. "Where's the sloth chocolate?" That was her comic strip. So I need a comic strip from that group of children that I just asked, all right? Now the next group, the next part of the magazine will have want ads or advertising. So this is, you're asking for something, like you might need help. Let's think. You might need to do an ad for someone to cut trees. This would be Noah placing an ad for help for someone to cut trees down for him. Maybe someone to build the cages for the animals. You could do an ad for that. You could do an ad for menu ideas or things that you think that they would need on the ark. In this newsletter that we did back when, they were asking for oil. They have a little oil gusher here, and they needed oil for the lamps that would be lit throughout the ark, all the little lamps to keep it bright in there. So that was a good one. I'm going to ask Ellie Kate, Allie Grace, Baird, Sophie, and Grant Silvas, and Georgia and Caleb to come up with some ads. All right. You can even do a want ad. Like here's a funny one. We need needed bird for a very important mission. Beak must be in good shape to pluck a olive branch. Must have a good sense of direction and not afraid of water. So take the Noah story, what you know about it, and try to think of what was needed for the ark, what Noah and his family would have needed, and make ads for it. Okay, either want ads or an advertisement. Buy your oil from us, we have the best oil, or get your wood chopped by us, we chop it best. And then the comic strips, you can have fun with that, making little jokes about the animals or something that you like, all right? And then the next group, okay, I'm looking to my step-up kids. All right, that's you, Sarah, Emily, and Sophie Summit, all right? You are the older and the wiser of the KOK group, the leaders. So I'm going to ask you to do an advice column for our magazine, an advice column. Many people would say like a Dear Abby column. She was a very famous news magazine writer. And people would write her letters asking for advice. Maybe they needed advice on one of their friends and how to act at school. Maybe they needed advice on something they wanted to bake or make, something that they needed help with. All right, like here's an example. Let's say Sophie's writing this, okay, Sophie? Dear Sophie, God has warned me of a great flood, which will destroy all of the earth. I am to build an ark to save my family and all of God's creatures on this earth. This sounds very ridiculous. And when I tell people, they just laugh at me. I'm beginning to feel embarrassed. Maybe this really is a big joke. Should I just tell God this is dumb and quit? Signed, Noah. Your job then would be to write Noah with your reply on how he should handle this. Should he listen to God? Follow the directions? Should he give it up? What about all the people that are laughing at him? How should he deal with that? You get to be the advice columnist. So that's Sarah, Emily, and Sophie Summit, all right? You get to do the advice. And last, my preschoolers are out there. I think it's Elizabeth, Garrett, and Beckett, and anybody else who's watching. Can you tell me the story? I would love to hear the story of Noah in your words. Your parents could maybe shoot a video, Elizabeth, of you telling the Noah story. Or Garrett or Beckett, maybe you could tell what you know about the Noah story to your mom or dad, and they could send me what you said. Just write it to me, an email, and then we'll try to put everything together in the weeks ahead in our own little newsletter. And I'm hoping that we can send this out to the congregation when we send out our newsletters every week. So would love to hear from you. Either you can send me a picture, drop one by. If you wrote something, just email it to me, how your parents help you. They have my email address. If you drop by on Sundays, I'm here for our service. You could give it to me then. So I would love to have it, okay? And we'll collect them to make our own Noah's Ark magazine. All right, now next, so that's your assignment for today. That's why I was in the mouse pad, because if you've been here with me, we would have been working on the computer. So this is a little computer work. I hope you don't think that it's homework. I don't mean it that way. But I still want you to get to do the things we would have been doing here at Sunday school. All right, so next, prayer. How y'all doing? Any worries? Any celebrations to tell me about? Are any of you doing any kind of sports? I would love to hear. I know a lot of you are in school or doing school online. I hope that that's going well. I know Caleb is been hard for him. There's been so many hours in the day that he has to spend online for his class. And I know that's been a struggle for him. So let's just take a moment to pray, okay? Dear Lord, thank you for all these children. Please help them in their schoolwork and their parents helping them. I know it's a lot right now, and it's so very different than what we're used to. So Lord, be with them and help them through their days. Help them with their work and all the new activities and new ways that they are doing things. And be with their parents as they try to help their children. And please just let them know how loved they are and how supported they are, and that we're always here for them in any way we can help. So Jesus, please bless all these wonderful children. In your name I pray. Amen. All right. I don't know about you. All week I have been singing the Arky Arky song. All week. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm singing Arky Arky song. It's like after Vacation Bible School. Remember during Vacation Bible School you learn all those new songs? And then for weeks, all summer, that's all you can sing. You just hear that song going over and over in your head. Well, that's what I've been hearing all this week. The Rutledges did such a great job with Arky Arky. I thought we'd go to them one more time. Here's the Arky Arky song. I'll see you all next week. Take care.
You ready to go? Yeah. All right. The Lord told Noah there's gonna be a floody, floody. Lord told Noah there's gonna be a floody, floody. Get those animals out of the muddy, muddy children of the Lord. Now we gotta build a boat. We gotta build a boat. The Lord told Noah to build him an arky, Lord told Noah to build him an arky, build it out of gopher, barky children of the Lord. Alright, so we got a boat, and we got to put animals in that boat. So what animals do you want in your boat?
A goose and a tiger and a monkey.
Goose, tiger, and monkey.
Yeah.
Okay. The animals, they came in by twosies, animals, they came in by twosies, tigers, monkeys, and geese, and elephants, and kangaroosies, children of the Lord. And a goose too. Okay, and a goose too. Okay, now that everybody's in the boat, and a goose,
Yeah.
what happens next? It's gonna rain. So get your rain stick out. It rained and poured for 40 daisies, rained and poured for 40 daisies, almost drove those animals crazy children of the Lord. So what happens after it rains? It stops raining, and then what comes out? The sun came out and dried up the landy. Look, there's the sun. It dried up the landy. Everything was fine and dandy, children of the Lord. So rise and shine and give God the glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory. Rise and shine and give God the glory, children of the